Hello, and welcome back to another Atomic Cards video. Joined today by Curtis.
Hi, everyone.
We've got something a little bit special. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago was Into the West, really big event in Wales. Had over 100, well, just under 100 people at the end of it. We've been trying to bring footage from events to you guys for a little while, trying different things. These guys recorded the games and they've given us the footage. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of like commentate on it after the thing. And let's see how that goes. Let us know if you like it. Let us know if you don't. But yeah.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited to talk about the lists, to see what's going on. And I was so far away from these tables that were being recorded on the day that I might even learn a thing or two.
You never know. You might. Oh, hang on. Right, we're in. So, first things first, the names at the bottom of the screen mean absolutely nothing. I don't know if you can see those, but those names are not relevant at all. What they're doing here with the pieces of paper on the screen is a special Into the West thing. So they have secret missions. So you've got a whole packet of secret missions that you can give at the start of the event. Before each game, you pick 3 of those missions, put them face down in the middle of the table. Your opponent picks one, picks it blind, gives it back to you, and you've got a kind of secret mission to do throughout the game. And that's worth 1 tournament point.
Can you remember round 1, just like these lads are doing at the minute? Can you remember what which 3 you put up and which one got picked?
I don't know which 3 I put up. I know which, well, I think, so I put up, the one that got chosen was I had to trap a hero and inflict at least 1 wound on it.
Nice.
And I know I put up the get my second most expensive hero killed.
Yeah.
I put that up. I can't remember what the third one was. But
and which one got picked? The
trap a hero and
trap the hero.
And I failed to achieve that one.
Oh man.
Spoilers, but it's the only one I failed to achieve the entire week. The entire weekend.
Wow. That's pretty huge. Well, my round 1, my secret mission was one of the only ones I managed to achieve, and I had picked the traitor in the ranks, the have your second most expensive hero killed, and I was up against spiders, and they paralyzed him turn 2. I was like, well, that's secret mission done. He's quickly going to get killed, and by turn 4, he was dead.
All right. So the scenario these guys are playing is Lords of Battle, and on the left-hand side here, so the kind of top-down view, the army at the top of your screen is being played by Dan Donovan, and at the bottom is a chap called Ian Porter.
Nice. So, what factions is Daniel Donovan playing?
Daniel Donovan has, he brought 2 armies with him, but he's using his good list for this one. So he's using the Rangers of the North. So he has got Halbarad with a banner. He's got 1 Ranger in the North, and then he's got 10 Rangers in the North with Spear. So that brings him up to a nice round, 450 points, which is what the event was at. Got to mention that.
What was that? 13, 14 model count?
10, 11, 12 models.
12 model count. Nice.
Yeah.
And what's he up against? What's the importer playing?
So the other chap has got Lurtzs Scouts. So he has got Lurtz. This is icky to read. 9, 13, 16 Urukai. 1 with shield, 3 with bow, and the rest just normal scouts. Ugluk with 9, 12, 15 Urukai scouts, 9 plain, 3 with shield and 3 with bow. And Malher with the same exact warband. So in total there is 9, 13, 16. The maths is hard, mate. 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42. Oh, is that 46 models?
No, surely not. 450?
Yeah, that sounds like I can't. Is it?
If you got 3 warbands of 12, 36, plus 3 heroes, 39 is the max.
No, I'm reading this. It's basically because I've had a list this format. It's slightly odd. To me anyway, it might make sense to him. He's got in each warband 9 Urukai, 4
3
shields and 3 bows.
Right, gotcha.
But he's got 27 Urukai scouts.
Plus 3 heroes.
Plus 3 heroes, so 30.
30 models.
Yeah.
30
That
models.
makes more sense. Yeah, because it's
Does.
like 9, then 4 times shields and 3 times bows. I thought that was like shield men. But no, yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Cool.
I think that's 30 models is a pretty healthy
Yes.
model count. And we look, we turn 1, it's Lords of Battle. You back the Rangers in this one, don't you? Look,
Yeah.
it's a kill count up against 30 models. But what is scary is already we're seeing. I imagine a march has been called. I know we can't
Almost
hear the
definitely.
audio. March has been called. Those scouts are flying. What, 8 inches plus the 3? No drum in there, I'm guessing.
There's no drum in the list, so it's 11 inches.
So yeah, 11 inches. Bloody hell, 11 inches is big.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell it's definitely been a march there because you can see the deployment line he left out, and then he's now halfway there basically. Daniel taking the sensible option here to just sit right at the back of the table, and ping a whole load of arrows into him.
Classic game 1 that. Just nervy, sit back, see how much damage you can do.
I mean, I would question if all of those models were within 6 of whoever called the march, but you know.
Ian, Tom's calling you out.
Hey, it's hard when you've got like 30 odd models to lob around. But yeah. So what they've got here, the terrain quickly, we've got a few little like barren trees, and then this kind of it's a TT Combat halfling village. So TT Combat sponsored the event, so they put a fair bit of terrain out for them. It's basically like MDF pre-constructed terrain. So this is their little like halfling village set, a couple of windmills, a couple of little houses. It's kind of cute.
What do you think about the terrain at the event in general? Because we had 50 tables there, 50 tables worth of terrain. I don't know if anyone out there has ever tried to put 50 tables of terrain out, but it's not an easy job.
I think you could tell some of the tables were put together by people who didn't play Middle-earth.
Yeah.
Because there were some tables there that just were a nightmare to interact with, let's be honest. But in general, really good level of terrain. One of the beauties of having it in a venue like Firestorm, which is where it was Firestorm Games in Cardiff, is that they are built for this amount of players. They've got like hundreds and hundreds of, well, about 100 tables or so. Like it's full of terrain. So all of these hills and woods and you know generic bits of terrain they've got coming out of the wazoo. It's just some of the slightly more Lord of the Ringsy themed ones, if you know what I mean.
And what a venue the Firestorm Cardiff was. I mean, on the terrain, I was pleased with the amount of terrain. I was a bit nervous, 50 tables. Thought we were going to see, the classic 4 pieces, 2 in each half, pretty much an open board, but it was quite the opposite. There was lots. It was definitely not put down by any MESBG player.
It looks like some might has just been spent there on one of the Rangers to drop an Uruk.
Oh, of course, he's got what? If he's got what, 13 models there, 12 models there, he's got 12 plus 2 for 2 extra for Halbrad, 14 points of might. You'd spend it, wouldn't you? Keep those numbers down.
Yeah. And again, little let you in onto how the event went for the players. But Daniel, who was Ranger North, I ended up playing him later on in the day. And he did a very similar thing against me. He sat back, he tried to shoot a lot, and he was not afraid to use might to get kills. Yeah. Always kills, not to hits.
Yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it? You take those kills as the Rangers player, right? Because you get those 2 attacks in combat.
Yeah, you
can feel like at times you match your opponent as long as you level the numbers. As long as you can level the numbers, having fight 4, strength 4 with 2 attacks can be really deadly. And then any might you've got left over, you get those heroic combat waterfalls rolling. But yeah, I'd agree with Mr. Donovan at this stage. If you can take out as many Uruks as you can.
Little fate on one of the heroes there.
Ooh, you think he's aiming at the heroes? Who would you aim for? Ugluk, Lurtz, or Malha?
Ugluk. Ugluk is always. It wasn't. It was a priority roll. My bad. Ugluk is always my priority number 1.
Why is that? Because he's not a leader. Is it a lower defense?
Yeah. So it depends what bows you're shooting with, but obviously, So if I've got elf bows, it's Ugluk. Normal bows, I'll probably still go for Lurtz.
Yeah. Fair.
Malha is one of those where if I've got heroes with plenty of strike, I am okay. So that's Donovan shifting off to the side as well. Look, moving 3 inches, just to try and take these guys out of the game a little bit. But if you can see that he's shifted everything across 3 inches to the left on the top down. I think our face is actually covering the other side. I'll put us down in the middle. But he shifted everyone away from us on the right hand side, so that try and pull some of these Urukai that went behind the building away from the combat. Again, trying to level the numbers a little bit.
It's smart that from because you know what, if you can get an extra 2-3 turns of shooting, you don't mind going to plus to a 4+ shoot value. It's still pretty good shoot value. You've still got that might for when you do get there. You roll the 5 and you need the 6, or you roll the 4 and you need the 5. Yeah, and like you say, he's absolutely taken out that right flank for another few turns, and yet they move fast. But if that means another point of Malho's might gone for a march, you take it. You do it again, potentially another point of might, you take it. Because suddenly then Halbrand becomes an absolute boss, being, you know, with his 3 points of might, happy to strike against those heroes. Yeah,
you can see these guys backed by the tape measure who they're not getting in for another couple of turns, especially if you can move again next turn.
Yeah, absolutely. And the terrain probably works into the Rangers' favour here. You know, it's lots of buildings, yet there's some woodland terrain there, which looks like the Scouts are taking advantage of, just running straight across it with their woodland creature. But yeah, if you can sort of get behind one of those buildings, get behind one of those hills, woodland creature means nothing. You got to go around.
What do you think of the deployment here? Because Daniel's obviously gone. He's chosen himself an area where there's a bit of woodland in the way, but other than that, it's kind of a complete open shooting gallery. Is that what you would have done, or would you try to put yourself a little bit in some cover, maybe behind some of these walls? You can see the bottom right of our screen on the right hand side.
I think it's tough. I think it's really tough, because if he goes into one of the corners to try and put more terrain between him and the Urukai, particularly in deployment, when most of the Urukai are going down before the Rangers, I imagine, then you've only got one direction to go. Whereas by putting them in the centre, A, you've got the best line of sight, and B, you can feint. You can feint by going one way and then maybe moving the other way. You've got those options to go both. And if the Urukai are going to try and close in and trap you, they need to go in 2 directions in their first move. And by doing that, you can then sort of move one way and half their army's out the game for a turn or 2. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. The only thing I would have potentially done is, as you can see now from the top down, you can see that by being out in the open, you've got space for the Scouts to kind of fan out around you and then envelop you a little bit. I know he's making that harder by shifting across to the side. But if you end up forcing them through a bottleneck somewhere, you can really lower their numbers that they're actually getting into combat.
I suppose then you take advantage of your 2 attacks, plus 10 of his models have spears as well. So he's got 3 attacks at fight 4, strength 4 going into those fights. You know, essentially, berserkers up against
regular. It's the one bigger
Scouts.
Disadvantage of Lurtzs Scouts over some of the other Scouts. It has no spears. So all of these lads are just one attack. They're just going to throw one attack models at you over and over again.
Yeah. They need the traps, don't they? They need to leverage their 8-inch move, maybe 12 on the march to wrap around and get the trap. Otherwise, like you say, they just don't get enough dice.
So I'd potentially be looking at the these walls and the rocky area down here. Where you can force them through small gaps.
Looking at the image on the top, on the left, would you deploy top right?
I think I deployed top right. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. And then
I would probably deploy about where his piece of paper is for a secret mission.
Okay, because then he can
maybe
sort of come
just
at you from the
to the left, and then you can move into the train.
Yeah, fair.
So I wouldn't go right in one corner, but that still gives you a fairly clear shooting lane.
Yeah. Are we seeing some charges here?
Yes, it looks like the Rangers have charged up into the Scouts.
Wow, that's quick. I was not expecting him to make that move. I thought we might have seen another turn of the 3-inch moves, but I suppose 8-inch on the charge, you can't get away from them that quickly.
I don't know. Again, it's another one. I'm not sure how I feel about it, where the Rangers have priority there, because the Scouts haven't moved yet. The Rangers have priority, and they have thrown themselves up into it. You can see he's left a little wall to try and protect from the heroic combats and things like that.
Yeah.
So unless this is the only problem with our view here, we can't quite see what's going on. But unless all of his heroes are still in his main block out of the way, and he thinks he can pin a whole load of Urukai on their own and just get that kill count up super fast.
Yeah, maybe he's thinking, right, early game, I've got a few kills, so I'm ahead on the shooting. If I can get some favorable fights and then at least survive in the unfavorable fights when the rest of the army comes in, I can really drive that kill count home to a point that potentially is unassailable when I've only got 12 wounds, 13 wounds.
See, that's a trap that people fall into there. He might only have 12 models, but each one of them is worth 2 points.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And Halbrad's worth 3.
Yep, 1 fate, 2 wounds.
Yeah. So if each one of those models is worth 2 points, you can look at it and go, I'm all right. I've only got 12 models. This should be an easy win.
Yeah.
But if you're not smart about it, they can go down really easily. So I played Dan game 3, I think it was on Saturday. My list was, for anyone who didn't know, was Army of Lake Town, except basically I took a normal Army of Lake Town list, but I subbed out Bard for Foreign on Goat, Foreign King on the Mountain. So I had the Master, Alfred, and Braga, 33 warriors, and then Foreign on Goat with Orcrist, so 37 models total, I think it was. Might be 39, I can't remember off the top of my head. And we had Clash by Moonlight. So yeah, Daniel deployed set back, tried to ping some shots off. He left the ranger out in the open, so I put all of my bows into that one ranger, killed one ranger, and then from that point on, because again he was looking at it going, it's Clash by Moonlight, it's cool, I've got loads of bows and just deploy the train. Once I killed one guy, that was it, because they're a hero. They give up those extra points.
That's it. You're head on VPs. It's up to him then to make the difference.
Yeah. So I then essentially tactically ran away.
Yeah.
But I had the secret mission to get Braga killed on that one. So I left Braga and all my archers kind of deployed in some terrain, waiting for him to come to them. And he just came straight at them. I called heroic accuracies and things with the archers to make sure I could kill Halbrad. So by the time he got to me, Halbrad and 3 rangers were dead. And then it was just a bloodbath, really.
Yeah. Well, as long as you keep a hero alive, you will always be killing more heroes. It's a tough scenario for the Rangers, that one.
Oh yeah, it looks good on paper because you think I've got the shooting advantage, but right, a little bit of spicy combat action.
Yeah, if I'm honest, it looks like the Urukai are getting rounds, but it doesn't look like there's too many of them left.
No, you can see a whole little line of them just kind of sat back watching.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with Lurtzs.
No spears, not doing anything.
Yeah. So my biggest thing I'd have been doing if I was the Urukai person here is calling as many heroic combats as I felt I could get to try and get round the back of these rangers, because that's where you need to be. He's put this like L-shaped line out, which is quite smart of him. It stops you from getting around the back of them initially. You can see his Tridra has got a couple of Urukai around the back. But if you could get one hero onto that corner,
I think if you can get 2 heroes onto a single ranger on a corner, so you can catapult them both off.
Yes,
going to be deadly.
So this looks like the Halbrad fight. Yeah, so he's sure what Daniel was doing, which has made it very easy, is he has a different colored dice for each ranger.
Nice.
So you can see
there's 2 white dice for Halbrad.
Yeah. Yeah, made it super easy when we're playing against each other. And he's got them color coordinated on his piece of paper as well, so he knows. So when he was shooting as well, you've seen he's got like a white dice, a blue dice, a green dice, a red dice.
Nice. That's strong etiquette from a Rangers player. I got a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, look at them all. So many, so colourful.
probably see it slightly better now from the right-hand screen.
Yeah. So the footy is obviously not ours. And one of the problems with being quite static camera angles is that you really need the players to come over to your side where the cameras are. Because if they go and hide in the opposite corner like they have done, it does make it quite hard to see. There was some audio on these videos as well, but the audio is not great. All you can really hear is the background noise from the event. It was like 100 people playing in a room. It's going to be loud.
Yeah, plus shop goers, plus card players downstairs, plus
They had a Magic the Gathering Double Masters draft on at the same time, which is cool. Cool. If you're into Magic the Gathering, we also host events. But yeah,
Tom, I've been stalking the Atomic Cards Instagram, and I'm gonna have to pick up one of these Elite Trainer boxes that you've got for the Pokemon Go set. With there's a couple of us from the MESBG community doing a bit of a Pokemon draft next Monday, and I'm definitely gonna have to pick one of those up. There's not many around, so if you are interested, make sure you hit up Atomic Cards, because there's not
got a restock of an extra 45 today.
Wow. So, well, there you are. This is the man to go to if you need to get that.
We've got that stock, man.
Yeah,
I know a guy. So you can just about see it on the left-hand screen here, but there's an actual hole has emerged stuck in the Urukai through this combat phase. So right down the middle.
Yeah, you can see there's just no one left in Urukai in that line. All there are is Rangers. There's Urukai to the left of them, Urukai to the right, but they're the Rangers stuck in the middle. Stuck in the middle with you.
In general, it doesn't look like it's gone particularly well for the Scouts.
For the Scouts, no.
In the nicest possible way. Ian, it does look like it's going quite poorly quite quickly.
And as a fairly distant observer, obviously.
Oh, a Ranger's gone.
No. But I imagine the two attacks from, and strength 4 against what is largely defense 4.
Yes, so he only had 3 shields in each of his warbands. Yeah. So he's only got 9 defense 5 like warriors in there.
Yeah,
the rest
and
all defense 4.
On 2 dice, you're getting a 4 more often than you're not. Yeah. So if you're winning that fight, plus the Urukai don't have a banner, Halbrad's got a 6-inch banner. Like, the Rangers are laughing in this situation.
And he's not going to be afraid to mite those wounds up just to get them done.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as soon as he can outnumber the Scouts,
if every Ranger kills 1 Urukai in the first round of combat, then you're properly laughing there.
Yeah, and I think that's might well spent, because you've still got might for days, and you can still, because you won't need to spend a might in every one of those combats, and then you lose priority. Doesn't matter. One of my Rangers of the North is just going to call a heroic move. Right, okay, you're going to challenge it. Lurtz is now down to 2 points of might. Lurtz is now down to 1 point of might. Oh, is Lurtz out of might? He can't strike anymore. It's so difficult when you're playing that much might, especially in Lords of Battle. You want to get those favourable combats. You want to get those traps in just so you can get the wounds, get yourself on the scoreboard.
So here's a fun one. I know who achieved their secret mission. I don't know, and I know who didn't in this one. Ooh. One of these players achieved it, one of them didn't.
Do you know what the secret missions are?
I don't. This is a challenge for you. Looking at this now, so the Rangers of the North achieved their secret mission.
Right, okay.
But the Scouts did not. So which secret mission do we think they might have had? Bit of theory guessing here.
I bet the Rangers had trap and cause a wound to an enemy hero.
Interesting. I think this one, I'd have looked at the table and gone, I'm going to take the make every in the way role.
Yeah, that's all your in the ways. Yeah, what you do it on the first one. All your archers have got might on them. You roll a 3, you might it up.
Yeah.
You got 66% chance. You even potentially do it on Halbrad, right? You do it on Halbrad.
Yeah, spend 2 points of might, get it done.
Yeah.
If you're feeling confidence, this is the tactic for anyone going to Into West next year. If you're feeling confident on the scenario and the matchup you've got, take what you think is going to be the hardest secret mission to do.
Yeah.
So I tried to do that for all through day one. And it meant day 2, I was looking through my secret missions and I was like, oh, well, these are things I'm going to do anyway in the mission. So this is easy. I don't have to worry about it. And they're your hardest games in theory. So that's my little top tip.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I
guess unless you're planning on being at the opposite end of the table, in which case the games at the end are probably your easiest games rather than your hardest games.
Yeah, although I fell into the trap of I put all my easy ones in first, and because I was chasing wins,
yeah,
I wasn't thinking about them, and I just didn't achieve them.
See, so the Rangers now have pulled across to one side.
Wow,
and they have isolated a couple of Urukai at the back here.
There's a new line there. Obviously, the Urukai will be able to get a few traps in, I imagine.
Yeah, he's just brought himself an Urukai in the back of Halbrad by the looks of it.
Is that the second version of Halbrad model? The tiny one with the horn and.
Oh yeah, I could barely make him out. Yeah, he's a teeny tiny boy.
Yeah.
Quite cool. And then he's left. He has taken a couple of traps at the back there. So you never know.
Maybe his was get your second most expensive hero killed.
Which one's it going to be? You could choose.
Be the one I'm using pink dice on.
Because I had the same thing where Braga and the Master of Lake Town are both the same amount of points. So I was allowed to nominate which one I wanted to get killed.
Yeah, fair.
Which is great because I did not want the Master to die.
Yeah, because in most lists, I imagine the Master's in. I imagine the Master is the cheapest model. So to have a second hero that's just as cheap is great.
Well, Alfred's much cheaper.
Oh, did you not have Alfred?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, so
it's the most
sorry,
the most expensive one. That's not your leader, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I wasn't thinking.
So Thorin's my leader.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people have the Master as your leader and stuff like that. But that was half the reason for taking Thorin.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that I had.
So if you had the Master as your leader and you had Bard,
yes,
would you have to have Bard killed?
Yes.
Interesting. You'd probably take that, wouldn't you? Throw him in there. So. Take plenty of models down with him.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what I did with Braga.
Yeah, after you've got 7 points of might out of him.
But I track my might, will, and fate well at events, and I track how many free ones you do as well. So I know that Braga averaged 6 points of might spent per game.
Wow.
Thorin averaged 7.
What from Alfred?
Free hero combats.
Oh, free hero combats. Fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. So someone like Elendil, I imagine, will also average that amount of might.
I was close to 15, 16 points of might spent per game. When starting with 8 points of might, I think it is.
Fair.
3, 5.
I tell you what. You can check it out on the Too Many Minis channel. I played a game against Ozzy, 750 points. I was with Dwarves and I used the Shield Bearer. Don't often use Shield Bearer. Oh my god. Free heroic combats are amazing.
They're so good.
Especially in a list where you don't have shields, just being able to reposition your models in the fight phase because of a heroic combat is incredible. Especially I was against a few spiders at big bases.
Some big spiders and 2 monstrous troll chieftains.
Yeah. And so the fact that I was able to put the champion, the shield bearer into combat, throw a load of, say, Iron Guard or Kazagard or whatever into that combat with him, call her at combat.
Are they already reviewing the end of the game here?
Oh man, is it done?
There's someone already broken.
they're looking at the old win conditions, aren't they?
This is my favorite point in any tournament game. It's my like, and you have a little like pump fist moment in the game.
Yeah.
If you can get to the point where your opponent sits there, like stops, looks a little bit, and then reaches for the match play guide and goes through this. How can I win this?
Yeah.
It's my favorite little yeah.
Or are there any VPs I can still get?
Yeah. What can I do that benefits me here? So the scouts have rounded that corner now. That's Lurtzs there that gone off on the hunt. That's him by the hobbit hole.
Right.
Top
He's
right.
the one that's just made the move across.
Yeah, you can tell from the way he's got his arms like this, I think.
Yeah, fair.
So that's Lurtzs. He's gone on head hunting. Halbrad's still going strong as well on the right hand side. You can see the banner. I mean, these boys are playing at quite a pace as well. They're already straight into combat phase, straight in.
I can't pick out every model, whether it's a ranger or a scout. But but based on what I think is a ranger and what I think is a scout, there aren't loads of scouts there. Like
the scouts are the rangers are like a light grey.
Yeah.
So if you look on the top down, you can see they're almost shiny compared to the scouts.
Yeah. It'd be nice if we could get a cheeky shot of the old dead piles.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's looking quite. I reckon they were just looking then to see if the scouts, because I think that's the scouts broken.
Oh, really? Yeah. But nope, there's another scout gone.
Yeah, they're just dropping like flies now, man. Yeah. So yeah.
So as a scout player, Tom, what would you have done differently?
I mean, I don't play scouts. I've never played scouts. I don't own scouts. As if I was the scout player, genuinely, I don't think there is much that you can do. You just kind of have to lob them in and hope for the best. The biggest thing is how he's used his heroes. We haven't been able to see that exactly here, but your heroes are fight 5, whereas his lads are fight 4. So you really want to be maximizing what your heroes can do. So I would be putting those heroes into one guy, going for winning the combat and trying to kill one guy each with those heroes. And again, I would be spaffing might, trying to kill those heroes.
Yeah.
The guys. Because every single ranger that dies is a massive swing.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing. I was spaffing Braga's might on killing rangers and things. And then when combat finally happened, Foreign went in and did the same thing. He was like, I'll chuck 2 might at killing that ranger because it's gone.
The Rangers do struggle against other heroes. I think they're great troop killers. But against anything that's over fight 4, that's got might itself, the Rangers struggle. And I imagine Thorin going in with his goat, potentially getting a few knockdowns.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I think there's a really good thing you can do with armies like the Scouts. It's quite hard to explain, I think, maybe, but I'll try. But it's when you think the lines are going to meet, so when they were real close to each other, and the Rangers kind of charge towards him, at that point, it's obviously you obviously don't know what the Rangers are going to do, but the Scouts didn't look like they had priority. So what I would be looking at doing there is calling a march with someone who's not going to get tagged up in combat. Because what you can do with your march is, while you can't necessarily charge all the models that do march, your front line can engage. You then activate the hero who activates the march. And then those models can wrap round to the flanks, round to the back, and either they're getting trapped this turn. They're not engaging. If you engage within an inch, models.
If you engage with the front line, right, you can go to within a millimeter, right? As long as you're not in base contact, you're not charging them. They've got no control zone. You get the trap. They can't back away.
It's a Goblin Town special, as I like to call it. But yeah, you wrap around. I do it to monsters and things all the time as well, because our courage is so low. Once I've got one goblin in, it's not worth the risk of failing that courage. I'd rather try and get the trap. And so you call the march, you wrap around the back of them, even if you don't get all the way around the back, because he did put that L shape out to stop it, you can get that 3 inches extra around, so the next turn you can come in.
Yeah.
And it just really helps you envelop him. Whereas he basically ended up with half his army standing there doing nothing.
Yeah.
And half your army standing there doing nothing is the opposite of what you want against a really elite army, because it plays right into their hands.
Absolutely. For me, I think there's two things that the Scouts player really needs to leverage. One, it's 8-inch move, and two, the fact that the good can't shoot into combat.
Yeah.
So, or it can't even shoot if there's combats in the way. So that turn where the Rangers have engaged, you don't fully engage the rest of that line. You don't give them the satisfaction. You don't give them the chance of the kills. But if you can reach the flank of it and just get the trap on the last guy, great. And then everyone else can go behind combats. So those guys doing nothing, they can't shoot them. And then next turn, you should hopefully kill that one you've done on the flank. Next turn, if you've got more models, you just do the same again.
It's a bit tough as well, because there's I think it's probably personal choice with Halbrad of whether you properly gun for Halbrad, because he is soft, he will go down really easily.
Yep.
Or if you just you can just ignore him, right? Yeah. So you can either put Lurtz and Ugluk and try and get them both, or Ugluk and Malher, into Halbrad, and unless he's spending all his might striking and things like that, he's unlikely to win that fight and he's unlikely to survive.
Yep.
But each one of those heroes could be there killing a Ranger in the North. And as I said, each Ranger in the North's worth 2 points to you here. If you can get them, and as soon as you get them low on numbers, you can really trap them and win. So that would be my single biggest thing, I think. And that's what I did to him, was I had to kill one Ranger North quickly, another Ranger North as quickly as I can. And then once his numbers are low, traps win games, as we all know.
Traps do win games, yeah.
Oh, it's looking very bleak for the Scouts.
Oh gosh.
There are not many Scouts left on this table.
Lurtz is still there at the back there. I can still see him with his sword out.
Yeah, he definitely sticks out, doesn't he? You can see him.
Yeah. No, he's got no lads around him.
So with him having kind of ran himself off out of the way a little bit there, do you think it could have been trying to have your leader survive unscathed?
Oh, potentially.
Or win every fight that they're engaged in? Because they were. I did the win every fight one on Recon.
Yeah,
I think it was. No, Recon. I did the standby nature board. I did do every fight on one of them, and I basically threw foreign in, got the kills, and then as soon as foreign was out of might, I just ran him away. That's it. You can't have him.
I only had 2 might heroes, and I did
that was a little game end roll there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
1 or 2. Did we roll it?
No, we're in priority again. We're going for it. So. Oh yeah, we've still got 15 minutes or so of game left.
Oh,
this is the poor Urukai player here. It's gonna get. Although to be fair, at this point, I think you want the game to go on.
What, as the Urukai Scouts? Yeah, you do. You want to give yourself as best chance to take out as many of those Rangers as possible.
The longer the game goes on against the Rangers of the North, the better. Especially if he's been spending might to win. To make to get kills and things. If he's been spending that might, you want the game to go on nice and long. Oh, he's weighing up a heroic move.
The classic.
Yeah, he's gone for it. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Heroic move from the Rangers. Called from one of your Urukai as well. That's something you can isolate your fights. So the Rangers have won it. What he's probably trying to do now is probably trying to get himself some leader kills somehow, get to Lurtz, and just really mop up, keep his Rangers as safe as he can. Yes, because moving Rangers across to threaten Lurtz, look.
Yeah, look, got the trap there.
That's a big 6 inches, son.
It's all perspective. It's all perspective. I'm sure
Yeah. And you never the hero who called it might be stood in the middle. We don't know.
True.
Just gotta throw it out there. I love this as well. So as a TO, and you've probably seen this as well at your events, how mildly frustrating does it get watching things like this at the bottom right of the screen on the right hand side, where he's just pushed the terrain over to put his foot there. We all do it when playing games.
All right, why it winds me up no end, because as much as you say put the terrain back once you've finished, they don't. And you look at tables at lunch and they don't look like they did at the start of the day.
I find it really funny. We have a lot of woods with loose trees on them because people like to be able to move the trees out for line of sight chicken and things like that. Those trees, I'll put them in like around the edges and on the corners and things at the start of the day, so you've got a place to go and hide behind the trees. By lunchtime, they're just everywhere. It's just they are never in one place. Bless them. We all do it, but yeah, that's a little. I think you're hosting an event soon, aren't you, Curtis?
Yeah, well, not till end of October. We've got a GBHL 100 in London, which we're really, really excited to host. Not been one of those for a while.
What's it called?
It's called the Great Battle of Our Time, and it's in Shepherd's Bush. And all you locals out there will know that's right next to White City, hence why it's named after the famed city. But yeah, so we've got 60 players coming down to Darksphere there. 750 points. Yeah, really, really looking forward to it. And yourself?
It is sold out, I believe, but obviously jump yourself on the waiting list because these events do have a few dropouts.
Oh, mate, turnover is insane. So yeah, don't be afraid. Get yourself on the waiting list. Tom, you're in a similar position, hosting one of the biggest events, the GBHL.
Yeah, it's the third biggest event in the country this year, I think. It's a GBHL event, that is. Which is the Contest of Champions. That's going to be at the end of August, August Bank Holiday weekend. We've got 70 players at the moment. Not much to speak of in the way of a waiting list, though. So if you are wanting to get on there, I can guarantee we're going to have some dropouts. So, yeah, Contest Champions on Facebook. 631 points, that one.
I love it.
Just because I can. And in that one, you're going to get an
extra 630 point list and then give your banner a shield. That's my tactic.
Or take your 600 point list and then add in 6 warriors.
6 warriors for 30 points. What army are you
Lake
in?
Town, baby.
Lake Town. Jesus.
Yes, 631 points, and you get a bonus tournament point in each of your games if you can slay the opponent's leader, just for a bit of extra spice.
Fantastic. And what, it ends on the Contest of Champions. So
Contest Champions will be the final mission.
I love that, because I mean, Contest of Champions, some people love it, some people hate it. But if you know it's coming, and like all the lists there are going to turn up being fully prepared, you know, they don't want their hero to die, but at the same time, they want a hero that does damage because of that.
That's why I've made it clear that Contest of Champions is definitely happening. It's going to be the last one. If you read the event pack, you will know that, and you can build your list around it. I'm really hoping we get to see some just real big heroes. People often don't bring the really big heroes out to things, but I want to see your biggest, shiniest heroes running around a table.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's the kind of list I like to build. Yeah, absolutely buzzing.
Have you got any? What are you thinking?
So I went to the Nottingham Grand Prix with a 600 point list, which was all mounted Mordor.
Nice.
So with Suladan, a couple of raiders. He was the leader.
Another Ranger dead.
No, Ranger dead. Shock.
Another Ranger dead.
It's Kamul on Fell Beast with a load of Morgul Knights, and then a Mordor Orc captain with a bunch of Wild Riders. And for the extra 31 points, I'm going to throw in a couple of Serpent Riders into Suladan's Warband.
Why, out of curiosity, did you go for Kamul instead of someone like the Dark Marshal or the Undying or the Witch King?
So Dark Marshal is great. Obviously, he's fight 6. You can spend his will and he becomes banner, 6-inch banner, which is fantastic. And obviously in that list, you've got lots of fight 4, so banner's very useful. Suladan's a banner, don't need it. Suladan, 6-inch banner, all cav, 3-inch banners do chuff all, but 6-inch banner really, really handy. So didn't really feel like I needed the Dark Marshal in that situation. Obviously, his spellcasting is better. Someone like the Betrayer, and then maybe going for more Harrod cavalry. Betrayer's great. I've got a lot of time for him. But actually I do love Kamul. The ability to get will back. I don't mind throwing 3 dice at a 4+ transfix because
Another range just gone down.
ooh. But yeah, 3 dice at a 4+ transfix because there's a good chance if that comes off, I'm getting 1 or 2 of those back. So
yeah.
I don't mind that trade-off. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, you're still losing will there. You don't need it to be net nil because you do not want Kamul to die on 12 will. You want Kamul to die on 2 or 3 will. Fantastic. He spent it.
Another ranger? Has he just lost 3 rangers in a row here?
Ooh. Is this
Hello?
is this
The
evening
comeback's
up?
on.
It's an absolute maelstrom at the minute. I can't tell what's what.
I'm just going with the fact that Dan's been picking up the models. So Dan's picked up 3 models in a row there.
Wow.
You can see him just on the top right. There's a few just dead chaps there, look, just off the table.
I suppose I've talked quite a lot about the Rangers being fight 4, 2 attacks, strength 4, but Scouts, they're also
Urukai are also fight 4 and strength 4.
Yeah, and the Rangers
Although that
are
Rangers just
D4.
murked a couple of Uruks, but you know.
Are the Rangers D4, D5?
I think they're D. These are ranged at north. Are they D5 and the other one's D4?
Fair. Yeah.
I don't know. The book's just over here. I'm going to walk on over here. I think they're D5 because I think I was winning on 6s if I remember correctly. I'd have been winning on 6s anyway, wouldn't I? Yeah, oh no, D4 is 5s. So it must have been 6s. Let's find out. Being discontinued from the web store as well. So if you do want to emulate Dan's list here, there will be some coming to stock on Atomic cards.
Very, very excited for the return of the Mahud and the Harrod King.
I'm not. You can all get out. They're mine.
Didn't you sold loads? You had a much bigger Mahud army and then you sold loads. I bet you're very glad you sold them when you did.
I am incredibly glad I sold them when I did, yeah. Where are they? Oh, they're up next to things. So Halbrad's defense 5, Dunedain defense 4, Rangers are north of defense 5, yeah. So these Abbots are all defense 5. They're also only 1 attack. Don't know where you're getting 2 attacks from, but you know.
Only what, sorry?
They're only 1 attack.
What, the Rangers?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the army bonus to give them 2 attack when they're on foot.
Yeah, true. Cool. So I'll do it. So there's not very many models left.
No, it's very sparse, and it looks like we've got some models running away.
Oh no. Oh no. That's not what you want. Is that Halbrad's banner fluttering in the sky on the top down look?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he
right
gives
by
them
the
fearless,
house,
right? His bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, little fearless banner. Is that some Urukai charging it? Looks like it.
Some cheeky leader wounds there.
Yeah. It's getting down to crunch time now.
Yeah.
This is like probably my favorite bit of the games. When you get down to these last little bits where you're trying to like, eke out a win, the little like, little tiny bits that actually really matter.
This is where players who are really good with the micro really come into their own. Early game, all about the macro. Small errors don't become big things. It's all about thinking about the game more strategically. At the end, though, like a small micro error means the difference between a trapped hero and a non-trapped hero. Hugely important.
So I personally think out of our gaming group, I think Lee is much better at these little micro things at the end of the game.
Yeah.
He's really good at knowing his little outs and how to win, what he needs to do to get there, and sticking to it. He's very good. We've had some very productive conversations about it.
Yeah.
How to kind of eke out those wins.
Yeah, I mean, he learned it the hard way. Pretty much exclusively plays 5-inch models, and you do have to learn to get good at the micro. I've not quite mastered it yet.
These are I've gone for a little trap around the woods. So on the top down on the right hand flank there's a Ranger of the North trapped in there. And he did chuck a couple onto Halberd early, but Halberd's won that fight.
Still back these Rangers, they're 2 attacks with the banner still.
So they're getting essentially 3 attacks, aren't they? But,
yeah. Oh, is that more Urukai coming off the table?
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, getting pretty thin. The tension's building now, isn't it? Oh, there's some dice from the Urukai player. He's played a blind there.
He uses Urukai dice, doesn't he? He's using his Isengard ones.
Oh, the special Isengard dice with that mighty white hand.
Big.
Definitely perfectly balanced in every way.
You've seen a fair few white hands, haven't you, in your time?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. So what's really fun as well is I've got the VPs that they scored, but I don't have what they scored them for. So that's going to be a fun little game.
Interesting.
So I'm just looking up now, trying to find Lords of Battle. There it is. I'm going to have a little.
So
look
it's
myself.
what is it? 3 points for scoring for killing more, 5 for killing double, 7 for killing triple.
Yeah.
Then 1 for breaking, 3 for being unbroken.
Yep.
And then 1 for hero wounds, 2 for hero kill.
Yeah, leader kills. Yeah.
Mate, I play this game too much.
You're just too good.
Well, I've had them explain to me which ones I didn't get so often.
So this is going to be interesting to see.
Are we coming up to a potential game-ending roll?
Oh, potentially. It's looking like that.
Still got some others.
They're in moving again.
We're past that. Game continues. It's absolutely roasting. Is it roasting where you are?
It has been. We had a massive thunderstorm yesterday. So it's really taken the edge off a bit for us.
We absolutely need some rain here, just to take some of the heat out of the air.
If anyone's wondering why we hadn't put this up sooner, it's been a couple of weeks. That's why. It's because it's been like 40 degrees. I'm sure it has been everywhere. And I'm sure the Australians are laughing at us right now. But look, we've said it so many times this week. 40 degrees here is not the same as 40 degrees there.
We're not designed for it. We
don't have air conditioning. We don't have fans. Our buildings are designed to lock in heat. It's just not the one. Ooh, he's gesturing with a scout. That's exciting.
Some counting going on.
They're working out VPs here. Yeah, here we go. So the game's ended. Working out VPs. So
GG boys. GG.
What we've got here.
I'm going to guess.
Can you see anywhere on this table Halbrad?
No, I can't. I wonder if I'm going to guess that Donovan won 7-2.
Interesting. Okay.
I think he got double kills and broken and unbroken. No,
No, that would be 8. That would be 8-2. And then I think his leader's dead. So 8-2.
Okay, so it's actually, well, they've both got the brokens, I think.
Ah, okay. So 1 each there.
And I think how does this work out? Yes. So I think Halbred's dead. And I think the Rangers of the North got more kills, but not double.
Oh, okay. So 4
And a wounded Lurtz,
4-3,
which make it 5-3,
5-3,
which is what the score was.
fair. Well played.
So that's my guesstimate there, is Halbrad's died and they've broken the Rangers, but the Rangers got more kill points.
And Lurtzs got.
I reckon they'd have had double if it wasn't for that one turn where like 3 Rangers died.
Yeah, towards the end there.
Yeah. So yeah, it ended up with a 5. Oh no, see, I'm lying. It's 4-3. It's 4-3.
So Lurtzs not wounded, you reckon?
Lurtz not wounded. Yeah, that's probably my guess. Donovan got his secret mission, which is Rangers of the North. They got theirs. But the Scouts did not. But there's no one off like tagging a board edge or anything being all secret mission-y. So that's a bit of a mystery to us. But yeah, that's that game. It felt quite quick.
It did. What? That video length 45 minutes?
So the whole video was 55 minutes. But obviously the first couple of minutes of that was deployment and things like that. So yeah, probably 45, 50 minutes that game.
Fair.
For contact, mine almost went to time. I lost this scenario 12-0 to Callum Edens and his Howard and Mahood combination. Essentially, there's an awful lot of fight for in there. There's a lot of strength for in there. He put his Mahood at the front because they're D5, so I needed 6s to wound them with my bows. His bows were dropping me like flies. I did a bit of a deployment error. I deployed behind some walls like you've got here. But I deployed that wall first, and he went, cool, I'm going to be 24.1 inches away from that wall. So I then had to come out from my wall. Basically, well, I did try to take it to a stalemate essentially, and just go, well, I'm not going to do that. But my other warband was slightly closer, so he could get shots on them.
The one
so that was my fault entirely. And then we had a good 4 or 5 turns of shooting at each other. And then it started to capitulate for me. He had one like super spiky turn where he dropped, I think it was like 3 Lake Town bowmen. And it suddenly meant that he was massively out shooting me instead of just a little bit. I actually had more archers than he did. So that was nice. Had more archers than he did. His had obviously got the poison, but he didn't have betrayer. So it was just like a regular reroll 1s to wounds. But it was just because he had the Mahood at the front. Oh, go away. Because he had the Mahood at the front, it meant that it was just a little bit painful to get through. And then once I was down on kills, I just had to kind of commit. Well, I had 2 choices really. I could either just take a narrow loss or go and try and pull something out my backside. I went for the commit because I wanted to get my secret mission.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Foreign's goat got rinsed by a whole hail of blowpipe fire, and then basically when I got to combat, it was like slapping someone with a wet fish. Didn't really do anything to him, and we lost about 2 turns of combat and we're all dead. But I think it all started to go wrong, from deployment for me. And it was all my own doing. Obviously, he played himself well. He's a top player, but I think that was mainly my fault rather than.
Fair. So
how did it go for you?
As close as this one?
No. How was your one?
Oh, I played spiders. Round one, I had dwarfs. My little legs, they're up to. There's lots of terrain as well, so I wasn't able to get sort of good shooting on them. They're all very low to the ground. We had lots of walls. Sort of out managed to sort of create a bit of a shield wall and deal with them for a turn or two. But eventually, strength 5 just really showed its value up against defense 7. Yeah, I was defeated by the spiders by James Donovan, the brother of one of the players we just saw.
Oh, nice. Cool. Well, I think we should probably wrap things up there because it is almost midnight and I have a half an hour drive home.
I'm a room next to where I'm going to sleep, so I have a 3-second walk.
We're going to try and do the rest of these videos as well. So we've got all the rounds for all the games. So we'll keep an eye out for those. Let us know how this works as a method of delivering the games. If you'd like to, I mean, we didn't really talk about the game much, to be honest, but you know, it was there.
We talked about it a bit.
We've put them up before with the audio from events, and people just gone, oh, you can't hear anything anyway. So we thought we'd do this because it's a bit more chill. We can talk about stuff.
I really enjoyed seeing it. It was nice to see sort of the top table. I never didn't reach that table myself at the event, so it was nice to see a few different armies. And I'm really looking forward to actually if we can get a few more of these videos out, seeing as the games progress, because obviously
top table round 1, so you know.
It could be anyone, but as the games go on, we'll start to see sort of the real top players. We'll see what lists they've got, and we'll see what they came up against on their journey to the top. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope it comes across well, and we can get a few more of these out.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us as well. Cheers, guys. And we'll see you next time.
See you later, guys.
Bye.